Hello, this is Joe Cisco with Midwest Laboratories, and this is the 7th week of tissue sampling for the Shared Insights program. And at this point in time, we're still pulling that top collared leaf from the plant. This is 14 collar corn, and so I'm going for that top collared leaf. I snap it off, and in this case I'll put it with the 12 or so other leaves that I have here. At this stage in the game, our plant has reached its maximum amount of foliage or vegetative growth. By next week, when I come back, this field will be tasseling. There will be silk coming out at that main ear, and at that point we will have a different leaf that we will be sampling for our Shared Insights or any tissue sampling program. Today I'm pulling the 8th week of tissue samples as part of my Shared Insights enrollment with Midwest Labs. At this point in the growing season, my corn is in the VT stage, meaning we have silk emergence, full tassel, and a lot of pollen shed. I'm pulling tissue samples at this point that are opposite and below the main ear. So here's my main ear, and then I have a leaf that's opposite and below. So I'll snap that off, and then I'll put it with 10 to 12 other leaves that represent this portion of my Shared Insights enrollment. I'll get those folded up and put in the plant tissue sample bag and shipped off to Midwest Laboratories for analysis. And today I'm pulling the 9th week of tissue samples as part of my Shared Insights enrollment with Midwest Laboratories. And at this stage of the crop, I'm still pulling that leaf that's opposite and below the main ear. So here's my main ear on this plant, and so I'm going opposite and below, and so I'll snap this leaf off and I'll put it with 10 to 12 others that represent this portion of my Shared Insights enrollment. I'll get those placed into the Midwest Labs plant tissue sample bag and then shipped off to Midwest Laboratories for analysis. The crop stage is R1. We have brown silk, and we still have a few silks attached at the very tip of the ear. And so by next week we'll start to be seeing some blistered kernels, and so we'll move into the R2 stage. And today I'm pulling the 10th week of tissue samples as part of my Shared Insights enrollment with Midwest Labs. My corn's growth stage is R2 with complete brown silk, and at this point I'm still pulling that leaf that's opposite and below the main ear. So here's my main ear. Opposite and below would be this leaf, and so I'll pull this leaf and collect about 10 to 12 leaves that represent this portion of my Shared Insights enrollment. And so I'll get these folded down, placed into the tissue sample bag, and shipped off to Midwest Labs for analysis. Today I'm pulling my 11th week of tissue samples as part of my Shared Insights enrollment with Midwest Labs. The corn is in the R4 stage, which means it's in the dough, and if you pull back your ears and pinch those kernels, you'll see that the kernels are in that dough stage. So R4. I'm still going after that leaf that's opposite and below the main ear. So here's a main ear, opposite and below. I snap that leaf off, and I'll get that leaf collected with 10 to 12 others that represent this portion of my enrollment, folded down and then shipped off to Midwest Labs. And today I've pulled the 12th and final week of my tissue samples as part of my Shared Insights enrollment with Midwest Labs. The corn is in the R5 stage, and so at that point I'm still pulling that leaf that's opposite and below this main ear. So opposite and below that main ear is the leaf that I'm going after. I've collected samples, both soil and plant tissue, as part of my final week of the Shared Insights enrollment. And so I've packaged up my samples. I'm going to get them ready to ship off to Midwest Labs for analysis. The corn is in that R5 stage, and so The ears are fully dented, and if you snap one of these ears in half, you'll find out that the corn is at that quarter starch line. And this year's crop, at least this field, has progressed quite rapidly with the lack of moisture that we're seeing over the last 45 days. Again, this is Joe Cisco with Midwest Laboratories, and where the lab is always happy to reach out and help you with any of your tissue or soil sampling needs. Thank you and have a great day.